Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to tell you about the latest from Extinction A.D, Chaos, Collusion, Carnage, and Propaganda on November 5th on Unique Leader Records. This release has 4 tracks and it's 11 minutes in length. This is the band's 4th EP. They are from the United States of America, Long Island, New York to be precise, and they are a crossover thrash metal band, and they have that New York flavor to their sound. So if you're a fan of that old school crossover thrash from New York, not only check out this EP, but check out their previous releases. You're not going to be disappointed. Now, this is their first one with this label, and this is one that has 3 brand new songs and 1 cover, and I'm sure you guessed it. Propaganda is a Sepultura cover that closes off this release. Now, it opens up with Chaos, the shortest track on this EP, a track that starts off with a solo, a ripping solo, really old school, and I love that sound and I love that approach, that way you construct a track, and starting it off like that really sets the bar and it sets the tone not only for this song, but for what the rest of the EP is going to have in store for the listener. It's a track that feels like it's moving well because the guitars and drums work as one. You could feel them independently, but they really work well as one, creating a wall of sound that has a lot of intensity, a lot of aggression. The vocals break through that wall all the time, and this is what creates the dynamic, the interesting movements within the song itself. Now, it's an interesting track as well because it feels like it loses some steam as it progresses, as it gets towards the end. But as it loses perhaps a little bit of momentum, it gains in heaviness, so it closes off heavier than what it was when it started. This allows the song to be dynamic, but at the same time to stay very balanced throughout. Next, you have Collusion. Chunky, ripping guitar riffs with the drums behind, packing that sound, creating this freight train that's always coming at the listener at every single turn. It really creates a thick experience, a thick sound experience all the way through, thick and heavy all the way through. The vocals have the ability to stretch out the track, and sometimes they really feel like the fuel that's been thrown into that fire that it's burning, with those drums and guitar sound combining really well together. The chorus has even heavier drums. I didn't think that was going to be possible the way they constructed this song, but once you get into the chorus, 2 things stand out. The heaviness of the drums really pops into the forefront, and the chorus has this vocal approach that really feels like a call and answer, so it adds a little bit of a live vibe to the overall experience of the track, something that stays very consistent throughout the entire EP, but perhaps more noticeable on this specific song. On the second half of the song, the bass really pops. You didn't notice it as much on the first half, but on the second half, the bass takes more of a predominant role, and that makes the track feel a little bit better. It feels more complete. It feels more old school, it feels heavier, it feels more hardcore, if you will. The riffage levels on this track is really what creates the ebbs and flows, because this is not a song that stays stagnant, it's not a song that stays flat from beginning to end. There is definitely this sense of evolution, this sense of progression, and I like the closing of the track because it feels like a punch, but a punch that fades out as the song closes off. Next, you have Carnage, and this song is pure carnage from beginning to the end. It's a demolishing track, perhaps the heaviest, most demanding songs across all 4. It just feels like it wants to take absolute control, sound-wise and vocally as well. It has this set on itself, this path of destruction that is just never gonna stop. There are 2 times where it takes a little bit of a reprieve, and that is during the 2 solos. I like the fact that they broke it up and you have 2 solos on a track, also adding a little bit of an old school flavor. I mean, they threw a lot of old school elements across this EP. You have a song opening up with a solo, now you have 2 solos on the same track. And this allows this track to feel like it breathes a little bit better. It extends the song, it makes the song longer, it makes the song feel more complete all around. It allows it to have this old school sound that then merges really well with their elements, with their own DNA, with their own thrash presence, making this track feel like an absolute complete song all in all, in terms of how the vocals come across and in terms of how the sound is put together. The 2 solos work extremely well because they add a little bit of an explosive nature to a song that feels really compact, that feels very thick in its walls. So the solos break a little bit of that thickness, becoming a little bit more melodic, a little bit more driven, but that old school flavor that they have brings it all together, allowing the song to stay very compact and cohesive. Last, as I said before, Propaganda, Sepultura cover, grimier than the original. That's perhaps the best way to describe it. Even heavier at times, not just heavier musically, but also heavier vocally. I like what they did with this cover. First of all, when you listen to this song, the moment that it pops in, if you're not looking at the track listing, you know you're listening to a Sepultura song and you know you're listening to a Sepultura cover. But at the same time, it fits so perfectly with the DNA of the 3 previous songs that if you're not as familiar with Sepultura and if you're not familiar with this song, it totally feels like this could have been their own track. Because the mood of this EP, the soundscape that this EP has, a lot of the vocal traits and a lot of the musical traits that you're going to see in the previous 3 songs carry a little bit over into this track and allowing them all 4 to really merge well and making this all feel like an Extinction A.D. release and not necessarily 3 new songs in a cover. So I like this cover because it kept some of the DNA intact of the original, but at the same time they changed just enough in order to make it their own. One of my favorite covers of this song. I really enjoy what they did here. They kept all the power, all the raw nature elements that the song has, and then they just turned it all the way to 11, making it more grimier, making it heavier, making it grittier. This is it. Extinction A.D, Chaos, Collusion, Carnage, and Propaganda. Once again, out November 5th on Unique Leader Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on singles, on anything that these guys have released. They have some material out there, a couple of albums, a bunch of EPs. Go check them out and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Take care, guys.